Back to the Resilience Pod. You're here with me, your host, Reena Singh. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Whether you are watching us or listening, I am truly grateful. Now, today on the pod, we have another awesome role model in the resilience industry. She is sat right next to me, as you can see. She has experiences in business continuity, crisis management, emergency planning. She is truly a global citizen, having worked across the country and in different parts of the world as well. She is bold, brassy, is not afraid to say it how it is, which I absolutely love. I met this awesome lady sitting right next to me about 6 years ago when I first started my career, and I definitely have not forgotten her. So guys, please welcome, in joining me, my very next guest on the Resilience Pod, Sev Cokayne.
Hi everyone.
Welcome.
I'm going to be your loudest and most edited guest. I do talk like a salty sailor. No.
We love that. So someone who is not afraid to say it how it is. We definitely need role models like that.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm so excited. Now, before we kind of get into the nitty-gritties, I ask everybody who comes on the pod to flick through the mood book. So Sev's got it in her hand. And those of you who are listening, you know what the mood book is by now. And she is flicking through the pages just now to tell us how she's feeling before the interview. And guys, as always, we'll ask her at the end how she's feeling.
Okay.
So she's just having a look.
It's okay. So I think I'm feeling splendid.
Awesome.
Because that face has just made me smile. Should we just turn up like this all the time?
We can,
yeah. Okay,
so,
splendid, darling.
So, Sev is feeling splendid. Thank you. We will leave her mood at the back here so we can keep track of it. And we will now start with quizzing you.
Oh, God.
Back to the beginning. What was your very first job?
Paid or unpaid?
You could do both, yeah.
First, I guess, job, I mean, this will be unpaid, was when I was 15.
Okay.
I was living in Kenya at the time, and I'm just one of those weird kids that knew exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Oh, really?
Apart from being an astronaut, was to do something in the realm of humanitarian aid and assistance. I found somebody that has his own little kind of boutique, security and response company. And does also community development, and that was like all about me. And I was like, right, I want to volunteer and get involved. And it just, sitting in backs of trucks with other people with guns, it's just driving around. I mean, they responded to the Mozambique floods. It was incredible. So, and that was kind of my summer break at high school. That's what I wanted to do. And I did, the whole Duke of Edinburgh stuff, and that was more community work. And that's what I wanted to do, hands down. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then what about your first paid job?
McDonald's.
Okay.
So I moved to this country when I was about 18, 19 to do the degree in disaster management at Coventry. Big up to anybody from Coventry. We've all been there, the same degree, varying years. But yeah, so yeah, McDonald's literally was just I had no CV, like no, you know what I mean? Like it was like, good. I don't have any background in anything. I was like, I can flip a burger. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I like your very, very first job, and I guess that feels like it led you to do your degree choice.
Yeah. It's like this. I really enjoyed. It's a lot of kind of out there frontline, but and also it's quite heart wrenching sometimes. It's quite hard to disassociate, but switch off, not bring it home with you. However, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Awesome. Yeah. I like that clarity. It's nice to see some of our real models have that clarity and who have actually consciously studied this area and made a decision to go into this field from the very beginning. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on from consciously doing your degree, what about your kind of how you then fell into the whole resilience sphere?
Well, my dad worked for the UN. Okay. So I was raised everywhere, and also not some desirable places, not so desirable places. So our majority is Asia, all around Asia and in Africa.
Okay.
And so I remember my earliest memory was Mount Pinatubo erupting in 91. And I remember it vividly because of the ash falling from the sky, covering our car. And I thought, oh, it's snowing. Because obviously I was like, I was only little and I didn't know what snow was. And I'd never seen it before. And I was like, Mom, it's snowing. And I remember running outside and my mom going, get back in the house. She was, get back in the house, because it was, ash was falling from the sky everywhere. And we've been through earthquakes. We've been through civil unrest. We've had to, leave the country via the embassy for certain incidences. And so I think we've just been involved. It's been in my environment for so long. And I remember as a teenager in Kenya was, I'm sitting at the dinner table eating a nice meal and there's people literally outside the house or down the road. They don't have anything. And a part of me was like, well, I could have been born on either side of this house, right? So what am I doing with all these experiences? What am I actually doing with all these life events that I've learned from and I've had to be involved in? Well, flooding and typhoons and stuff. Why not apply that to something? There's got to be a reason, So I thought, sod it, pursue it, go help folks.
And she is doing just that. So we are women in resilience.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, there's many barriers, challenges, and all that. And I'd really be interested, and I'm sure so would our viewers and listeners, to see and hear what challenges you have faced and how you've overcome them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a stubborn mule, and a loud one as well. So, and I've always been the only woman in teams. Okay. So most of my career, I've always been the only woman, and I have been mistaken for the secretary, or I'm the one that takes the minutes, and I'm like, no, I'm chairing this meeting, guys, and they're looking for this person called Steve. Like, oh, who's gonna, we're here for Steve. I'm like, no, it's me, Sev. Although Steve has stuck for a very long time now. You'll meet people that I've known for, a million years, and I'm still called Steve.
Okay.
It's fine. I'll still respond to it, but it's But it's one of these things where you're mistaken for the secretary, you're mistaken for whoever else, and that's fine. I've never felt different. It was more about blending in.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about. It's about blending in.
You didn't wear makeup.
No, I mean, I wore cap boots. I wore my my suit and my trousers, and I've got a snow shovel in the back of my car. It's it's to fit in, blend, get the job done. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm used to doing. And I think working for a Big Four was a huge, big culture shock wake up call because women are wearing makeup and they got heels on and I'm none of those things. And I remember a colleague of mine on my first week just looked me up and down. I'd known her from back in the day, but she was like, okay, so there's like a H&M down the road, like you get yourself some heels, super jog and boots is around the corner if you want to go get your, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, hang on a sec, this isn't a fashion parade, like I'm here to work.
Yeah.
I'm not here to look pretty, I'm here to work. That's the whole point you guys hired me. And I get why, I get where it came from because it's client facing. So you know to look the part. Yeah. I get that. But fitting in was harder because I don't know how to do all of that. I'm here to do my job. I'm usually frontline. I'm usually 2 a.m. in the morning on the side of a mountain somewhere. So to me, it was consultancy life was an adjustment. But I found the challenges I was facing more was with women.
Oh, really?
Odd.
Okay.
Yeah, really odd with women, and I didn't notice very much when I was the only female on teams of blokes.
Yeah,
working day shifts, night shifts, or whatever, and so we had to manage. But I think with women, because it's such a male-dominated industry, we all have to try and assimilate and fit in and adapt, and it can be quite competitive. And all that kind of, not testosterone, but all that kind of energy kind of rubs off in you, and and you're used to operating in that way, and you don't mean to. And I think that's why I've had a lot of unconscious bias from women. And maybe because I'm also a bull in a china shop, and I don't know how to conduct myself in a womanly manner. But it was just more of a sense of fitting in for women was the hardest thing. And so when I'd have a female boss, it wasn't a comfortable dynamic.
Okay.
And I found I found it easier to work with guys. It was just, I think because I'm just so used to it. I don't know whether, it's me or whether it's the culture that we're in, that we have to fit in and adopt some traits and personalities to get along with a male-dominated society or group of people or team.
Yeah, I think it's not just you. I think probably a lot of other females in the resilience industries may have faced similar things. Definitely I have. Not currently, but where in previous jobs, I did kind of not have the same as you, get those unconscious barriers and biases from female bosses, and not being really the best thing and supportive thing, whereas the males would be more supportive, and that's just a huge generalization and just personal experience. So it would be really interesting to see and hear back from you guys who are watching or listening to us, to see if you've kind of faced that and what the dynamics have been, because it shouldn't really be an issue whether you're male or female, right? So we talked about some really insightful stuff, some of the challenges and that Sev has faced, barriers, and just quite grateful for you to opening up about some of the things that generally role models in the industry try to hide, and that's why you are a real model, because you are real about it and not afraid to showcase it. So moving on from that, and it moves nicely on to the next question. Resilience, such a buzzword in the industry, many definitions, but what does it mean to you from a personal point of view?
Empowerment, big time. And that's not just professionally, but if you think about it from a community perspective, people taking ownership on getting themselves out of the situations that they're in, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Working with what they got, knowledge. I mean, knowledge is power, but empowerment is being able to take control or managing something. And I think personally or professionally or government, community, whatever it is the empowerment to manage something like that. I think is personally is where I feel is the true meaning of it, really.
And so from your point of view, how can you get into that whole empowerment phase? What do you do to feel empowered?
God, that's so weird. Sorry guys, getting real here. Owning the dyslexia and owning the ADD.
Okay.
Because in every job that I've been to, I'm having to work on it. I got to work on getting stuff done quicker, or managing big chunks of information, or working through an incident overnight when I'm super tired, and that dyslexia kicks in big time when you're tired and you're stressed, and not telling employers, and now with the employer that I'm going into, I've disclosed it. I said this is where I'm at, but it's not a disability; it's a strength.
Yeah.
And it clearly is, because I've gotten as far as I have so far without a bother, and I've achieved all the stuff that I wanted to, and that's because of being so used to having to persist with challenges and having to overcome them and find different techniques to get around barriers and new mechanisms to assimilate and to do tons of work or whatever stress or load that I have on my back. But I do a lot of work in neurodiversity in diversity inclusion teams in previous employers, and I feel strongly it's like owning your power, own your superpower, figure out what it is, own it, use it to your strength, and make sure your employer knows how to use it to your strength as well. Because if they don't know what to do with it, then go move somewhere else, because you don't want somebody putting you in a box. If you're gonna rock something and you're gonna own that, find somebody that know how to leverage it, know how to grow it, and push you in the right direction.
Thank you guys. That is fantastic advice, and really thank you so much for sharing that, because it's all well saying be empowered, but how? So that's very valuable. Thank you. Okay, so being a truly global citizen, which she is, and having experience and exposure in working in all these different countries, environments, do you have to adapt yourself? And how do you conduct yourself to be able to not necessarily fit into the mold, but to make your work a success? What are some of the key factors?
It's all about understanding the environment that you're operating in, and culture. Culture plays such a large part in how you then address yourself, how you tailor your methodology or your technique, or how you approach people, or even just implementing a program or a deliverable, right?
Okay.
So for instance, people, organizations in Asia will operate differently to ones, say, in the Middle East or to Europe. It's been fantastic learning experience, and I just feel more and more intrigued, and I want to get more and more involved in it. And I find that culture is a key driver personally, which is how I feel about resilience, is embedding culture in these programs.
So when we first met,
you're gonna have to tell the story.
So it's quite interesting. So we met, well over 6 years ago, and I was just starting out in my career, and Sev came and did an audit, and definitely remembered you, and like it
didn't go well.
But it
wasn't a good audit.
It wasn't because of me.
No, it wasn't actually, not at all.
But it was what I remember you by, and then how I remembered you when we met again after all these years, is you sat down with me and you asked me, what is it that is challenging you? And you asked me about how I felt, and that really, like, I thought, oh gosh, she actually cares about what I think and what my challenges are in my workplace, and then she's going to try and help me get that as a third person who's auditing, and it just stuck to my mind. And so that was that, and then we, you move on in life, and then you went off to America, and then we kind of like didn't really stay in contact, and then I saw you,
last year last November at an event.
Was it earlier this year?
No, it was like last year, wasn't it? I think it was last year.
Yeah, so
my first year back.
We met at a Women in Crisis Management event, and so Sev walks in, and I'm there really early, and she's talking to everyone, and I just look at her, and I'm like,
hugging everyone. I'm a hugger. I don't know you, but I'm gonna hug you.
So boundaries. But anyway, it's just like I was just kind of like, I know her. It'd been so many years, like well over 6-7 years since we first had our interactions, and I just kept thinking, I know her, but I couldn't remember where from. And then this whole event happened, and you were like really kind of putting your opinions out there, asking questions, which was really good because nobody else was, which was really funny. And then at the end, I came up to you, and it just clicked to me, guys. Like, she said her name, and I was like, yes, I know her. So I went back up to you and asked you if you remembered me.
Do you remember you audited us? I was like, oh, that was the one that went really bad.
But it's crazy.
How far, how, your journey, like how much has happened over that time.
And I think it's a testament to say that when you meet someone all those years ago, and then you don't see them for about 6-7 years, and you see them again and you remember them, that says a lot about the person who I'm sitting next to here.
It's not forgettable. It's loud and not forgettable, unfortunately.
Despite that, I mean, I think that just makes you you and unique, and your personality is just the impact you have, and that's why I'm really excited and pleased that you agreed to come and do this video with us and this podcast, because it's really the type of person you are, and it gives me confidence to see you speak out about your challenges and not be afraid to say things.
Well, and also, and again, this is like, I'm just going to put it out there, guys. I'm dyslexic and have ADD, which, if you haven't guessed already, God bless you. But I have other things that that kind of get in the way in the day in getting stuff done. And so it's just one of these things. It's like everyone's got something, right? It's just what you do with it, how you deal with it, and how you use it to your advantage, right? Again, stubborn. I'm if I want something, I go off and get it. I've cleaned hospitals to raise money, to go to countries to help out and do stuff for free. I remember one time I wanted to join the VSO, which is the voluntary service overseas. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go. I'm going to build a well. It's going to be awesome. And the process to go through that is that you have to be interviewed. Then 2 months later, you have to sit in a group, a group task, and you get surveyed and analyzed. And then months after that, you then go through another round. And I just thought, you know what? No, I'm going out. I'm going out next month. So I cleaned toilets and offices and hospitals and flew out to the Philippines. And I was like, I'm here. What do you need me to do? And no one's going to turn down free help, guys. So if you want to do this type of work, make sure you have money. You clean a lot of toilets and get your butt out there. So, and that's what I did. I was like, sod it. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And even university, I did my qualifications in Kenya. It wasn't enough for an A-level because it's 2 different examination boards. It didn't classify. It was more of international baccalaureate. It didn't count as an A-level. Went to Coventry, talked to the faculty, and I said, "This is what I want to do. I want to do this. I do volunteer work. I get involved in the community." And they were like, "Okay, apply." And so I got in without a full A-level. You know what I mean? It's if you want it, go out, do it, get it. No one is holding you back but you, by the way. So this whole challenge and bias and stuff, I'm like, I see your challenge, and I raise you me. Bring it on. Come at me, bro. Bring it on. Like that, and that's my philosophy. You know what I mean? So it's more, sod it. You've just added fuel. I love to prove guys wrong.
And what have you got to lose? Like, you had nothing to lose. You just asked.
Yeah. Don't ask, don't get. Yeah. If you want to go it, do it. Get it.
So some women or men who are watching, because it's not just exclusive to that, like your personality is quite out there. You're a very confident person. But what if you're not that confident? How can you then, all the barriers you've talked about, and then just being very proactive, what can you do to be consciously doing those things if you're not naturally born to do it?
I think it's relationships. I find relationships super, super helpful. And even if it's not the ones that you don't know that person, if you are on LinkedIn and you see somebody's job title or organization or their progression, their career path on their LinkedIn, and you go, geez, I would love to start that track. I want to go in that direction, or I'm really intrigued as to how they got that path. Message them. That's exactly what I did coming out of university. I said, I really admire your career progression and your track, and I really strive to do that. And I would love some advice on how to get there. And put yourself out there. And folks won't message back, and some folks will. It's putting yourself out there and finding other ways to get that information, and bring that opportunity to your life. I think it's not just about a job. Some people don't even have experience in this, and they get jobs in the industry that they want to because resourceful, ask questions, meet people, all that stuff's for free. Go to events. It's a bit cringy. Networking, oh God, I hated networking. Talking to complete strangers was not my thing. But there's a lot of people out there with good, useful knowledge and who have a big heart and who want to help and want to impart things. I was ringing up county councils and local authorities and saying, hey, I will work for free. I want to do this. If you guys need me to write something or I don't know, edit a plan or help with an exercise, geez, I'm free help, guys. It's there's other ways of doing it. If you're not sorry, I'm going to do it this way in your job, there's talking to people, meeting people, getting involved in events, offering your time.
Thank you. I think that's really insightful for us all and very inspiring. So go out there and get yourself out there, guys. So books.
Okay, so
your favorite current book at the moment.
So the reason why I've got a book in my hand, guys, is because I ran out the door and forgot to bring it. So I don't read anymore. I have no time for me. So can't remember last time I read anything, but
apart from
that, I know. Apart from Peppa Pig,
did you bring that today?
I did not bring Peppa Pig. I'm sorry, guys. So I have 2 books. for different reasons, actually. And the first one is My Family and Other Animals by Gerald Jarrell. And it reminds me a lot about growing up. And it's about, it's based on wartime, but it's a single mom with her very eclectic, eccentric children moving to Greece and starting a whole new life there and having to adjust and acclimatize to the culture there and how things really work and all the idiosyncrasies of each child and it's a bit of a hubbub, a mixed match of a family, and that's why I feel I'm reminded of, because my mum, practically raised us in every country whilst we were following my dad in whatever contract that he was doing at the time, and we are a mad bunch, as you can tell. And the second book was given to me by a good friend of mine years ago, which is called The Innocent Anthropologist. Okay. It's actually based on I can't remember who wrote it, but it's based on the actual person who went out to Africa in, kind of colonial times, I guess, and a British guy, to understand the pygmies or something along those lines. And it's awesome because he's been doing his job for a million years, and then having to then jump into Africa and apply it to there was it. And all the isms out there in Africa reminds me of when I lived there. But it's but for having this person who's an expert in his field to then jump into a different environment and culture, and then have to just completely rethink the way he approaches stuff, baffles me. I think it's so fascinating because it's what we do as professionals. It's literally in resilience. This is what we do.
Amazing. So just remind our viewers and listeners your two favorite books. What were they again?
So My Family and Other Animals by Gerald Jarrell. And The Innocent Anthropologist, who I will have to find the name for.
Yeah, so we'll put links to and the details in the descriptions and comments, so keep an eye out for that. So thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And finally, where can our Resilience Pod viewers who are watching us just now or listeners find you?
LinkedIn is the best place to catch me.
That's where we all hang out, okay?
Yeah, I know, literally it is. Twitter's okay, but I'm LinkedIn girl. Yeah.
Okay, so and they can search your name and find
I'm the only Sev Cokayne in LinkedIn, and yes, it is cocaine. It's how you pronounce it. Okay. So you won't have a hard time finding me.
Okay, so links below, and do connect with Sev, and if you are impressed by her interview today, or you just want to know how she's so confident and buzzing and inspired by her,
coffee helps.
Coffee helps too. Yes, giving her a few too many maybe.
Girl.
So get in touch. She is truly inspirational. So thank
you
very
for
much.
Having me.
So unfortunately, we have come to an end. So much fun. Spending the morning with you.
It's a bit of a wake-up call. Sorry for being so loud in your house.
No worries, it's great. Really inspired by what you've talked about. Sev is going to flip through the mood book and tell us how she's feeling after we have quizzed her.
Hell yes. Look at this.
She is, what are you?
Oh, look at this. Oh, rockin' is a word usually made by Over 50 set. By the Over 50.
Okay, so you're rocking.
I'm rocking, and I'm not over 50.
Yeah, no, clearly, because look at her. So, so Sev is rocking. Thank you so much. Why are you feeling like that, apart from reading the description?
The example that they've given is, wow, Jimbo is really rocking that mullet today.
So, wow, Sev's really
I'm really rocking
that today.
Yes, thank you. I'm loving this.
Love it.
And the acronym is ACDC. So
okay.
I've actually dressed for
Oh my god, how weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
So there you go. It's meant to be. She's rocking. Thank you once again for taking the time to come all the way up here and to inspire our viewers and listeners and just be really real and open and honest with us. Really appreciate that.
That's been awesome. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Guys, thank you to Sev again, and thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in today, whether again you have watched us, which if you did, what a treat, and if you are listening to us too, thank you so much. I am truly grateful. As always, stay tuned for more amazing episodes on the Resilience Pod, because we are all about connecting you to the real models in the resilience industry. So until next time, bye guys.